Hello, comrades! It's been a little while, hasn't it? Wrong. The party is never late nor early. It arrives precisely when the Ministry of Truth tells you it has. Regardless, welcome back to Canada! Da, it's true. The past 10 years have not been kind to our young republic. The filthy capitalist pig dogs in... Toronto have been sabotaging us at every turn. Their false whisperings coerced many of our weaker party officials into making highly short-sighted and arguably insane decisions, such as building the heat transfer pipes above ground, which every true Soviet knows reduces their efficiency.
It is worth noting that building these pipes above ground is going to result in a efficiency loss as the heat will evaporate off them, but it saves us so much money that it kind of felt necessary.
These officials have been let go. But not to worry, comrades, for from today onwards, the Soviet People's Democratic Socialist Workers' Soviet Republic of Canada will stand fast against the tide of lunatic corporatists. Behold, the might of Soviet industrialism. Now, if you'd like to see the entire journey, as well as the mods we're using in this run, the party has made the relevant materials available in this video's description. Viewer discretion is not permitted. With that out of the way, it's time for us to return to our glorious republic and take stock of where we're at. To summarize, we're fucked. Many issues plague our fledgling republic, foremost of which is the cold. Our citizens are toiling under the tyranny of the thermometer, and no amount of historical editing by the Ministry of Truth has been able to erase thermodynamics from reality. Yet. Unfortunately, this means we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way and actually bury those heat pipes, which will have to wait until spring when the ground thaws. Thankfully, our citizens have plenty of other issues to keep them busy. Namely, overflowing sewage, overflowing trash, rampant crime.
Yes, we have 98% of cases last year were unexamined, which is insane.
Empty hospitals, dwindling exports, and a complete collapse of the intellectual population. Hello, comrades! Did you enjoy our little comedy segment? Please, write your name down on these papers below if you laugh. Lucky commenters will win a one-way trip to our Siberian summer camp. As you are aware, the party cannot make mistakes. And as such, these are not crises to be solved, but merely another opportunity for our citizens to prove their Soviet resilience to the world. Over the next 5 years, we will entirely eliminate our debt, by any means necessary. We will also develop at least one extractive industry, deploy our first trains, and maintain a population of at least 4,000 citizens. We will do this. Or, well, let's just say, you and I won't be having this conversation again. We've got plenty to do, so let's get started. The new clinic we built last year to service our tourists was just outside of the range of our sewer system. Adding a new cistern and a more modular pipe network would sort that right out. Similarly, some of our citizens had clearly fallen prey to Western consumerism, and were hoarding their trash like absolute goblins. A series of new dump sites would resolve this. While digging through the piles for any evidence of anti-Soviet behavior, we noticed that some of the waste could have other economic benefits, and as such was separated out. Despite the glorious opportunity to prove their resilience, our citizens were feeling a little down. Two of the biggest hurdles were unstaffed hospitals and very high crime rates, both of which were being caused by a lack of sufficiently trained workers. Upon further inspection, this was largely due to where people were living and where they were assigned to work.
So what we've got a lot of people who are like, for example, university trained. They're living up here, right? But these people are all going to work at the bus platform. This is not good. We don't want this. We don't want these guys working at these stations because there is no skilled labor. Sorry, there's no like university labor being exported from this bus station. It's all basic labor, like high school grade labor. And so we need to reorganize where everyone lives.
The party was very happy to inform them that they themselves were overjoyed to be possibly evicted from their homes and sent to live in more appropriate accommodations. Tired of the insolence, the party also evicted the snow and ice from our glorious republic, revealing yet another opportunity for growth. For you see, our roads could use a little min-maxing of their own, to be honest, and some traffic signals were put in to help our citizens figure out when it is, and is not appropriate, to plow through a pedestrian crossing at 70 kilometers per hour.
Боже мой, это Джейсон Борн.
By the middle of March 1971, all of these upgrades were complete, and that meant it was time for the big one. We'd need to bury those heating pipes if we were to have any chance of surviving the next winter. This would have to be a three-step process. First, we'd need to run new pipes most of the way. Then we could hook those into the heat exchangers, and once that was complete, rip out the old ones. While this was happening, party officials noticed that our brave workers had tragically become addicted to the Western substance known as food, and were beginning to show signs of withdrawal.
Why is everyone still f***ing starving, man? What is the problem? We don't have enough workers. I don't understand why, though.
More workers were brought in to pick up the slack, but at great cost to the Republic. To make up for some of these losses, several trucks were repurposed, and new export routes were established to sell off some of our necessities, like meat and vodka, and even some of that Western contraband.
You don't really need to be part of the distribution network, because all you're doing is moving meat from here to here. Oh, sorry, to there. So we can just tell you to do that directly. So let's send you to the road vehicles depot, just to get you out of there. And then we'll add a new stop. We're going to say, go to the cargo station. I want you to load. Wait until you're loaded with meat. Then I want you to take it here and unload that meat. Don't wait until you're unloaded. Just drop off as much as you can and then sell the surplus to the border. So we're going to make like 1.6 per each export, which is a lot. So we're going to be making like, damn, am I right about this? Is that going to be like 200k in food exports? That's huge.
It was abundantly clear that the best thing we could do right now was to pause all further expansion and simply allow the Republic to stabilize a little. Many of our buildings needed some maintenance and light reconstruction, and what better time to do it than right now? Our buildings weren't the only derelicts in town, though. Many of our vehicles, like the ambulances and fire trucks, hadn't seen the inside of a mechanic's shop since we bought them. A small, dedicated covered hull truck would sort that right out.
It's fixing the fire trucks. To do that, you just buy any covered hull, by the way. Stick it in your vehicle repair center. It'll load up on stuff that it needs, and then that'll allow it to sort of drive off to the location where the vehicle needs to be repaired, and it'll show up in the menu here, and it can do the repairs.
And just like that, winter was upon us again. However, things were looking much better this time around.
We are no longer struggling to keep everybody warm, and our city's actually larger. We have like 600 more people we did this time last year, and everybody's warm. Okay, burying the pipes worked. Happiness is way up. As you can see, we are much happier overall. 74% now, which is great. Happiness is good for a lot of reasons, but the biggest one being that your people are less likely to leave when they're unemployed and stuff, which is perfect because we don't want our citizens leaving until we say they can. And happiness also has the benefit of making your people slightly more healthy. I think they are less likely to commit Sudoku and finish themselves off. I think that's a mechanic. I might just be making that one up, I won't lie. It looks like the biggest complaint that our people currently have is that there are not enough electronics in the city. I mean, obviously, there's some people who went to prison. They don't like that. There's someone who lost a baby, which nobody likes. That's terrible. I'm sorry. But mostly, it just seems like crime is the biggest one. And yeah, this poor police station is so overwhelmed. I keep going through and clearing out the log because, again, you can't fail to prosecute a crime if you never report it in the first place. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be working. Something with that methodology is flawed, and I just can't figure out what it is. Also, we do have to make sure we have enough space for smart boys to move into. And honestly, the solution there is probably to build another flat and just put educated workers in it. And that way I just know where they are. But like literally no other reason except that. What about here? So what if we had like a fax machine come through? It's like rip the paper, right?
Oh, what's this? The Ministry of Truth has just informed me that new uniforms are now in stock. And not to worry, comrades, we've heard your pleas. All of the merch from previous seasons is now available to purchase again for a limited time. So please head over to www.largelyunemployed.com and see if any of it suits your fancy. She's got incredible timing, this one. And the enemies of the state are around us. Yes, our little republic was finally profitable, and we were well on track to paying off our deficit. If we just sat here and patiently waited another year, we might be able to actually pay off our loans in full. Is what a capitalist agitator would whisper into your ear as you sleep. Oh yes, little bourgeois piggy, hoard your monies and let them grow through interest. Don't contribute to the socialist dream. But we are not going to listen to such filth. Instead, we shall embark on our ambitious 5-year plan to rapidly develop the industrial backbone of this republic. Our previous surveys have revealed significant resource deposits in the region, and it is our natural mandate to see them exploited. With our objectives clear, the first plans were laid down to provide our republic with its very first rail construction office. This massive building will house all of our railway construction vehicles, store the required materials, and, most importantly, allow us to mix the two into some sweet tracks.
Okay, and our very first railway is going to be super simple. It is going to be a piece of wooden railway, and it is just going to connect over here to the customs house. And that is because the first thing we need to do is buy a very small rail constructor, build this basic wooden rail that connects up to the house, the customs house, and then use that new rail to buy larger rail construction vehicles that can work much faster. But we need to first do the little one so that we can then later do the larger ones. And we can of course rip this up if we don't need it.
Several months later, and we were ready to, metaphorically, roll. A pair of new trucks were purchased to ferry gravel, steel, boards, bricks, and electronics to the construction office, and the very first track builder was picked up from the new customs house and delivered to its station. With that slowly being handled in the background,
oh, the speed of it!
it was time to figure out how we were going to get over to that bauxite deposit. We can't terraform out there just yet, so we need to get some excavators onto that hill before we can do anything else. Since we're headed that way anyway, we might as well bring over some power too. By the time autumn hit, we had built out the road and could deploy the diggers. A little infrastructure was slapped down around the site to make all the upcoming work go a little smoother. Then, then my children, It was time to plan.
Fast forward to the 12th of December 1972, and the bauxite mine is ready to go. I'm going to spare Magic the pain of having to try and time-lapse and collect all of these different builds, so I'm going to very quickly explain to you how all of this works. The bauxite mines are placed upon deposits, right? These are vary in richness, but ours are roughly between 90 and 50% in sort of like ore density. At an ideal location of 100%, 6 of these ore mines would be able to feed one of these ore processing plants. So we have 12 mines, we have 2 plants, meaning that we can support pretty balanced output, I hope. I imagine we're probably going to end up with more ore than we are with actual bauxite, because the bauxite processing plants require workers to function, hence the bus stop over here, whereas the bauxite mines do not. They run with machines 24/7. Just got to give them fuel, that's all. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how that's going to work. As you can see, we've got this sort of spaghetti maze of conveyor belts and mines, and we've got a whole bunch of these garbage containers, because each one of these is going to produce a lot of waste using the machine, so we want to be able to capture that. And this is kind of the network we end up with. The mines will dig up bauxite ore, they will run it through these conveyors, which go through these conveyor towers. These are modded ones, very big recommend. You can find a link in the description if you'd like to use them. And that sort of gets ferried piece by piece up into this big old aggregate storage. It's actually very simple, despite how large this build is. It's actually a very simple build. Dig up the ore, put it on the conveyor puts it into this big old storage yard. This then gets run down the hill, all the way down here, through a couple more conveyor lines, at great expense, believe me. I'm not looking forward to what this is about to do to our bank account. And then it gets sent over to these 2 bauxite processing plants, right? Once they have processed the ore, it will get fed into this storage container, and that's where we are at the moment. We also want to be able to load trucks, right? We want to be able to take the ore out of this thing and give it to our trucks, but more importantly, and I think most importantly, we want to be able to run trains on this. That is what all of this was done for. That's why we've been doing all of this hard work, was to start exporting in bulk. We want volume, right? In order to get volume, you need to use trains. It's just not even a question. It's kind of like, it's just what the game expects you to do, and it's right to say that, because there is no other good way to move things around in workers and resources other than with trains. They are the perfect tool for that job. We want to get our first main train line. So this is going to be train aggregate loading. We're never going to unload here. We're only ever going to load things. So I'm going to flip this, and I want this right here, right? We're going to load from this station, and we're going to send it, from this ore storage, and we're going to send it as far as we can, ideally back to the border, ideally not on fire. Okay, bueno, there we go. We got our first train loading station. Lovely. Let's just make sure that does not get built. We do not want these things being constructed just yet. They are ludicrously expensive, and we're going to have to figure out how the hell we're going to pay for all this already. I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
With the outlines of our mining empire beginning to take shape, it was high time we actually did something with all those damn trains.
Alright, according to our planning document here, it's going to cost me half, or 600,000 rubles, I say 500,000, but 600,000 rubles to build all of the track to get over here. And that's with 2 lanes. We don't need to build 2 lanes. We only need to build 1, and we only need 1 to connect to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say start construction of everything. I'm going to hit pause, right? And then we're actually going to go in and we're going to batch suspend construction on all of our train lines that are not absolutely critical at this point, which is basically all of them. You know, it would actually be nice, while I'm here, to be able to get a train depot. And I want the long one. The long man. I suppose this is probably a good use of this space. I mean, as good as any, right? You can put that there. Maybe like that. Because I just need to be able to connect to here. And we are going to be building everything out of concrete railway. It's just my preferred way to do it. And we will also be building everything out of electrified railway eventually, but I'm not going to go straight there. I don't think we need to.
And that planning took us all the way to 1973. As I'm sure you've noticed, things have begun to slow down a little around here as our trucks have had to drive further and further to complete their work. All there really is to do at present is sit back, grab a cup of your favorite state-approved stimulant, and enjoy the show. Okay, the party will neither confirm nor deny whether it left the game running while it went out for groceries, and came back to find that we're maybe just a little bit almost broke again. It's time for a cash injection! Fast!
Turns out building bridges out of solid steel when you're still paying back a 1 million ruble loan is not exactly the most sensible economic decision, so we need to get some money in.
And honestly, what better way to do this than with imports? As they say, one state's trash is another state's annual budget.
Anyway, this is how we're going to make money, and it's with dumps. Very specifically, these ones. This giant sarcophagus for a collapsing nuclear reactor is what we're going to use to basically just print money until the game catches up with what we're doing and stops us. So what is it that we will be purchasing here? Well, I'm so glad you asked, because it's very, very dumb. And that's kind of funny to a fella such as myself. We are going to be buying all of the meth needles and other detritus that no one wants anymore. That's right, we're going to be taking their trash and piling it up here, because hazardous waste is worth a fortune. We're going to take as much of it as we can get, and we're just going to fill this building with it. It can take about 4,000 tons of any given type of waste, and we're just going to leave it in there. This is our plan. We're not going to do anything with it. We're not going to get rid of it someday. We're just going to fill this box with it, and then we're going to walk away and pretend it never happened. And yes, I am indeed building a train line into it, because maybe eventually we'll have enough money to clean this out, but I think for now it's just going to get dumped in there. So these are quite expensive, but they will pay for themselves fairly quickly. And I'd love to build another one of them over here. But you know what else I would love to do is actually run a gravel road all the way to the Western Powers. I can't believe we haven't done that yet. Let's get that set up, shall we? I think this is a project that should have started a long time ago.
Also, comrades, don't think for a second that we've forgotten about you. Our field districts were officially renamed to the Central Planting Committee and the Corner. The corner. I want you to put a gunshot after that last one, and I want a body thump, and it's the comment who said it. They're going to be standing vertically on the side of the screen, and they're going to get shot from off screen, and they're going to fall over and die, because I hate that pun, and it's in the game forever now. Yeah. Long live the Sovereign People's Democratic Socialist Workers Soviet Republic of Canada. Also, don't think for a second that we've forgotten about our crop shortage. No siree. Not I, not me. We should probably do something about that, huh? We should also probably suspend food exports for the moment. We probably need to keep that one at home. And so, 20 more fields, 12 more vehicles, and 250,000 rubles more debt should sort all that right out. Next year, anyway. That's to do with the harvesting cycle, that line. Thankfully, our insane plan to become the world's most profitable garbage dump was finally taking shape.
And there it is. It's built. We can now tell it to store hazardous waste, and we can get very, very silly with it. So there's a couple different ways we could do this, right? The first is to buy a train and run it back and forth. Or we could do it with dump trucks. I'm kind of tempted to try the train approach, right? Like approach. Let's give this a shot. So if I go to cargo wagons, these ones, cargo wagons. So which ones can take trash? That one right there. 18 tons of hazardous waste at a time. Okay, buy me 2 of those. I'm gonna leave them there at the station. And then I want you to buy me a diesel locomotive. And we're just going to do like a super cheap one for now. Okay, that's the cheapest one we can get, which is 20k more than we currently own, because I bought 2 things and now we're broke. Wow, it's going great. It's going, you know what? You know what'll fix this is more debt. That's solved all my problems in the past. It's just more debt. Paid off 500,000 rubles and now we're 900,000 rubles in debt. Man, there's just no winning. Hello, Mr. Train Car. You look pretty dang snazzy. Brand new. Shiny. We can now tell this train car to go there. I want you to pick up cargo wagons. Okay, and then I want you to bring them back here. Alright, so now we're going to change your route a little bit. So now you're going to go to the station, and you're not going to pick up trains. You're going to pick up hazardous waste. Okay, and then you're not going to go to the train depot. Change my mind. I want you to actually go here. And I want you... let's get rid of the train depot. Stop. There we go. I want you to unload hazardous waste. Okay, let's try that. Alright, so this should now fill up with waste. Yes, it is filling, and we're making money. Okay. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so we have the ability to store 5,000 tons of hazardous waste. Let's take a quick look here. If I go to the input prices, if I want to buy hazardous waste, it sells for 1,486 rubles per ton. So I can make 5 million rubles by by shipping all of this garbage. Oh, it's so stupid, man. We're literally just printing money. And I have no shame at all. I'm willing to build like 6 more of these, and we're just going to build this empire using trash. It's literally just free money. Like, it doesn't cost us anything except the cost of the building, and we could do this even more stupidly, right? Like, we could do this with the free dump sites. I just don't want to have to build 900 of them. This gives me 5,000. Holy God! How much dump? 45,000 tons? Gentlemen, I know what we're doing next.
Talk about dirty money, goddamn. We then hooked up the train refueling platform to keep this money laundering machine rolling in the background, and decided to triple down by picking up even more waste wagons, so that we could buy in even more second-hand Labubus before the price began to plummet. Then it was time to patch up a few additional gaps in our republic. We'd run out of housing for young workers, and still needed to sort out the water and waste collection for the bauxite mine.
Storage and transit facility, this one right here. The loading unloading station, that's what it's called. These are pretty nifty, and they allow you to just use trucks to move the poop around. You can do the same thing with water, but I find that's a little bit death-defying, because if your trucks don't make it, well, your people don't drink, and that can be pretty bad for their health. Alright, so let's build that, and then we just need small pipes going up to these different points.
This work took us well into 1974, and by the time the snows had melted, we were finally in position to start construction on the mine itself.
Okay, we need to start building out this mine, and I think the best way to do that is going to be to start at the back. So we'll begin with these. We'll just do a handful of the actual bauxite mines themselves. I think we'll do these 3, and then we'll need to build all the towers that connect them as well. So let's queue this much up, and then just pray that we have enough money to actually pay for this, because I thoroughly doubt it.
While the trucks busied themselves with their initial deliveries, we turned our attention to the finer points of academic life.
Also probably time for us to start doing research again. We are now at 85% educated people, which is plenty. We still do suffer under the tyranny of the child, but c'est la vie, not much more we can do about that. And I think we really need to boost our tourism. It is pretty pitiful at the moment. Our tourist bus is picking up like 10 people at a time, which is no bueno. So let's run an advertising campaign in Soviet countries, and let's start doing some more research here. Definitely metallurgy would be a good idea. Selling refined aluminium is much better than selling bauxite. If I quickly whip out the trade, we can have a look here. So to sell, next page. There we go. Aluminium is worth a fortune, if I remember correctly. Look at that, 1,400. It's even more expensive than steel. I mean, steel's what, like 500 a ton? This is triple that. So yeah, I mean, producing refined aluminium would definitely be the preference. So maybe we should look into metallurgy, but I think we should probably first go for pollution detection. I'm a little worried that all of these factories are slowly but surely killing all our people. Yeah, a little bit.
Then, as always, it was time to wait. To wait a full 3 months, it turns out, as by the end of July, our efforts still weren't anywhere near turning a profit. More drastic measures were needed here if we were going to complete the 5-year plan, according to plan. We would need to essentially print money, but in a way that would inexplicably not drive up inflation. Yes, Only one option remains. We'll need to pivot. The Sovereign People's Democratic Socialist Workers Soviet Republic of Canada is now an AI-first company. If you remember correctly, our first, data center was established just south of the capital, and at the time, our share prices almost immediately landed on the moon. Unfortunately, this extremely innovative and eco-friendly approach to share manipulation was met with some resistance by the locals. Readings around the site indicated almost lethal levels of noise pollution, and also something the local council was calling heavily contaminated groundwater.
Ooh.
Naturally, we have no idea what they are talking about, but it did seem easier just to move things further out of town rather than, dealing with it.
And an epidemic has just hit this. It is going to make our people more sick, which isn't going to be helped by the pollution, I'm sure, but is more importantly going to affect tourism soon. Not yet, but soon. We also need to take out another loan.
In the meantime, work on the mine progressed rapidly, and before long, we had everything we needed to get going. And indeed, before the end of 1974, a full year ahead of schedule, the bauxite mines were officially operational.
We got 2,800 raw bauxite sitting in here, and that's just from these three mines working very slowly together. And the electric substation's on fire. Oh crap, It's always got to be in winter. That's going to blow up. There's no way he gets there in time. Yep. Great job, team. Great job.
All that was left to do then was to make sure our newly relocated data center was also up and running, before sitting back and watching the money pour in. "1975 opened to a very South African set of problems."
Okay, so the biggest issue facing the economy right now is actually not money. We're kind of positive again. It's crime. It's just a little bit of crime. We should probably do something about that. The city is kind of fallen to the criminals. I don't know exactly why or how this has happened, but it has happened, and we need to do something about it. And I think the best way to do it is just going to be to build more police stations, to be completely honest. And like a really big one, like this. This should hopefully take care of that.
Now listen, not for nothing, but Magic and I, we recently made a video about us building a proper braai. It's pretty funny, and we suggest you check it out, after this one. Speaking of building, it was time for a new train.
Okay, time for us to finally actually do something useful with all of this money we've saved up. I'd like to pick up a new diesel locomotive. That's pretty worn and torn, but that's a pretty major discount, right? 40,000 ruble discount. We could get a much more modern version for a similar cost. No, I think we go secondhand. I mean, when we have it, get it, right? Yeah, but you need to immediately get repaired. Beautiful, fully repaired, and for pretty low cost. Okay, definitely cheaper than it would have been to do this any other way. So, yeah, you're going to go and get all that stuff. Why don't you get started? And let's bring in... Yes, let's bring in our cargo containers. So, we need to get bauxite containers. Those are going to be done with cargo wagons. Specifically, we need hoppers. Price point to carry capacity. This gives us, so it's 13,000 for 30 tons. That's basically double for more than double. It's this one, no question. So we're going to do maybe 4 of these. Okay, that's going to put our currency pretty low, but it is going to give us a ton of ore shipping capacity. I like trains. I like trains real good. Alright, so with those dropped off, we can now assign them to this. It's a bit goofy that you have to do it this way, but, you know, c'est la vie. I need to take you off that collection line, and instead, your job is going to be to go out to this site. You're going to wait until you're loaded. You're going to fill yourself with bauxite, not raw bauxite. And then you're going to come back here, and you are going to sell it. And start. And let's watch this happen. And we've run out of money. Never mind, we're fine. We're still 900k in debt, despite all this work. But we'll get there. We're gonna get there.
And just look at that beauty roll.
And just like that, we've loaded up 300 tons almost of bauxite for a whopping 38,000 rubles of export value. And we got a whole bunch more we gotta get through here. This is huge. You know what? I'm gonna buy them as they come in. Which is 500 tons of bauxite, 65,000 rubles of currency. It's just absolutely insane. Now you're unloading. There we go. Okay. Exports under control. Alright, it's July 1975, and we're sitting on 230,000 rubles. This is fantastic. I'm going to turn on the trash train again, which I think at this point we have to call the trash train.
In fact, the party has decided that the comment section will be renaming all trains from this point onwards.
What do you guys want to call the bauxite one?
Prize goes to the best pun anybody can think of.
Bauxite makes aluminium, not aluminum, by the way. And while we're at it, we got to name a few more regions. We got Scared over here, which is certainly what I am. We've got Mukamove down over there, near the border with quote-unquote Canada. And we've got a new one up here as well, Truzhov. 3 regions, 3 names. Give it your best shot.
Let's take a moment now to reflect on where we are regarding the 5-year plan. We've successfully built out a new extractive industry, we have deployed our first trains, and our population is well on track to reach 4,000 profitable little cogs before the end of the year. All that remained to do now was to keep ourselves busy while we wait for the profits to come in, which meant planning out a new train line, expanding our mining operations, and completing the single most important build of this entire series.
Final thing. we have to do to celebrate our recent victory is not just to pick a new research type, because we've now got containers, which means we can actually start looking at shipping. Shipping on the ocean shipping. And now that we've got the ability to build trains, and we're probably going to need to really expand that capacity, we could probably look at getting a second city, getting a coal mine set up, building more trains, getting out there to the docks. Oh, it's going to be amazing. We're going to get some iron. We're going to make our own steel for a damn change. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. But before we can do any of that, we're probably going to want to first figure out how to put firefighters in the sky, and second, do something that we've been planning to do for almost 15 years at this point, which is to build this damn Ferris wheel. I've been looking at this ghost of my own plans for far too long. Let's get that thing built, and hopefully before the winter hits, we'll be able to actually do something with this, because it has been far, far too long. And then, I think we need to continue to zhuzh the place up. Not much joy being sparked these days. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Right off the dome. Oh, and I know the most Christmassy place of all. Perfect. It's done. It's finally done. And just in time for, well... Oh, it'll turn on! It's turning on! Yes! I thought it was closed for the weather, but no! No, it will spin. Please. Please spin. Please spin. Why do we have no tourists? What? Where are all the tourists? Tourists don't want to get out. I've killed my tourism industry. We haven't earned much tourism income for ages. What have I done? Is it because I don't accept tourists there? Oh no. Oh no. Oh, no. What have I done wrong? We've lost so much money. The tourism hasn't been working for months, and I think it's because I unchecked a single box. Oh, this game sometimes. Oh, God. Okay, now you drop off the tourists. There we go. Okay, and then they'll filter out and do their thing. One of the things being coming here? Maybe? Yes! Yes! It's fine. It doesn't spin. Unfortunately, there's no animations in the buildings in this game, but it does exist. Which could certainly be more... Oh, it is closed. It's fucking closed. Oh my god.
Our bankers must have also been feeling the festive spirit, as by the 10th of December, we'd finally, almost inconceivably, made it.
And with this, comrades, we are there. We are at the point, I think, where we could potentially, on the 10th of December, 1975, for the first time, pay back the deficit. Oh my god, we're free. We're free. We're running our own money now. We're completely on our own. We're completely on our own. No, I don't know what to do now. I didn't think we'd get to this point. Oh, I know what we do now. Now we build. We take the coil that we have started to wind, and next time we spring, we'll unleash ourselves on the unknowing wilderness, and we shall go where no one has ever gone before, to Taiga Valley specifically, although, I mean, admittedly, they had gone there, and we took them away from there, and they appear to have gone back. I don't know actually how they managed that, but good for them. You guys back in Moose Village? Yes, you are. Okay, never mind. Nature finds a way. Okay, we will have to reconnect them to the glory of the Republic. They've lost their way. They've become disconnected from the motherland, and this is not something we can abide, of course. The Thought Police must have absolute control, otherwise they might be thinking untoward thoughts about shares and stocks and the purchase of labor capital. It's absolutely unacceptable, and I won't have it. And well, maybe we'll have it next time. Who knows?
Da is true. Who knows, comrade, who knows? Who knows when the next installment will arrive? I suppose in many ways, that's up to you, comrades. If you like the video, then like it. If you want to see more, then subscribe. If you actually want to see more, then maybe join the Discord, because, to be honest, YouTube's algorithm is more fickle than Commissar Magic before his coffee. And as always, comrades, we'll be watching. And what better way to do this when... Sorry, you couldn't see me with my hands. I was doing like a hands thing for the cash injection. I was like, with my left hand, I'm holding a plushie of an orange, right, from Jeju, South Korea. And with my right hand, I'm repeatedly jabbing it with a hypodermic needle. Like, theoretically, I don't have one on hand. Although, to be honest, a lot of the shit I say might make you think I do. Sorry, it's much funnier if you can see it. You can't. So you're gonna have to use your imaginations. Okay, let's try that again, without the, psychosis, maybe? So that we could buy in even more discarded Labubu's. Yes, even more discarded Labubu's. It's much funnier. Because the idea is like no one wants the fucking thing, so they're all garbage, they're not secondhand. Someone will get it, and I love that person, and we're gonna get married. And I'm thinking maybe in like, not Vancouver, but like Vermont. Yeah, we'll get married in Vermont, and we'll buy a cottage together. We'll have cute little gay babies. It'll be wonderful. I would love to do like an Elon Musk bit here, but it makes me throw up in my mouth, man. The thought of the man. That incredible build. How does he look like that? He's not well, you know? I wish the best for him, really, but, well, maybe, no, that's not true. I don't, maybe I don't. I think that might be one of the few exceptions. Sorry, where was I?
You made it to the end of the video. Congratulations and thank you. That puts you in the top 3% of viewers. Here's another video that YouTube thinks you're going to like, and here is a list of all the patron and channel member names. If you don't see yours on there, you can find a link down in the description where you can sign up and support this content directly. If your name is on there, well, you probably already know that, huh? So, what are you still doing here?